Hello, fuckos, and welcome to this episode 61 of the Chris Hunter Comedy Podcast with me, Chris Hunter. Hello, how are you doing? Are you well? I hope you are. I hope you've had a nice week, for I have had a nice week. And if I get things nice, you too should get things that are nice. That is how the world should work, and that is how my world does work. So hello, folks. Sorry, I've just clipped the mic a little bit there. Apparently, I touched something on my mic, and now it's gone a bit funny. So if anything strange happens today, then that's what it'll be, you know? It'll be me faffing with stuff, being like, hey, just work, goddammit, just work. Anyway, happy Pride Month, ladies and gents. This is now June. We are in the 4th of June, and apparently June is Pride Month. So to all of the LGBTQ plus all the other ones out there, happy Pride Month. I myself am one of them people. I'm the B in that list of aforementioned letters. So it's nice to, it's nice to know there's more than one person out there. Otherwise, your options are pretty limited, aren't they? You know what I mean? And I remember people used to take the piss out of me in college. They're like, what, if you buy, so you're just greedy? You know, you want a bit of everything. Well, no, my dear, no. Because if you look like this, you don't get a bit of anything. Never mind a bit of everything. It's like going to an all-you-can-eat buffet, but everything's gone off. You know, or, well, everything's gone off you. So it's quite a different thing. It's like being denied entry to an all-you-can-eat buffet. But anyway, we're not here to talk about buffets. As usual, I'm here to talk about burgers and cheesecakes because that is what my life has become, folks. Welcome to my world. It has very few happy moments. These are those. This week was a bit different. Normally, we'd go for the burger of the week, which I always tell you folks about, from Cafe at the End of the Universe in Warrington Market. Hands down the best burgers I've ever had, and I've eaten a few. We went a bit earlier than normal this week because we had a big grown-up meeting to go to about mortgages, which isn't fun, but that was also at 10 a.m. So what we did after that, instead of hanging around Warrington for hours before we got a burger, we thought, sod it. We know that Dark Side of the Spoon do a breakfast menu. Let's finally get ourselves a breakfast item. And that is exactly what I did, folks. I got myself what the hell is it called? I forgot the name of it, but it is the top thing on the breakfast menu. I had the breakfast burger, basically. It was, except it's on I think it's on a seeded bagel bun. But anyway, it was bloody gorgeous. It was like a burger patty with a sausage and black pudding patty and some bacon and some other good stuff and hash brown. And I'm getting indigestion just thinking about it. But it was so nice. Very, very tasty. Brown sauce was on there. You can't have a bit of breakfast without a bit of brown sauce. And normally, I'm not that big of a brown sauce fan. I have it every now and again, but not too often. But I had it on this burger, and it was tasty. It added to the flavours. Charlie had something that I've only ever heard of in films, and I didn't know was a real thing. Charlie had chicken and waffles. Yep, that's right. Not even just chicken, like, here's a bit of chicken. No, it was fried chicken, because Americans, they don't like living too long. But it looked amazing. It looked really tasty. From all that Charlie says, it was absolutely delicious. So next time, I might have to get that if we're ever there that early again, which I don't know why we would be, but if we are, hell, I know where we're going for breakfast, don't you? But yeah, it was nice to see everybody as well, because we didn't go last week. So yeah, it was good to have a little catch up, see the folks. They're actually on holiday this week, but don't worry, the Dark Side of the Spoon is still open, and they've still got good stuff on. Go say hello. Say hello to Laura for us. Give us a wave. Give us a wave, Laura. Do you wave to her too? It's only nice that you wave back when people wave at you, you see. But yeah, this week's cheesecake was awesome. It was the baklava cheesecake, which, I got given a big chunk. It was tasty. I actually couldn't completely finish it. I wanted to, but there was so much, and because it's baklava, it's quite rich anyway. But it had this gorgeous, loose, nutty, biscuity base, which is really cool, and it had really nice, the cheesecake stuff in the middle, and then the outside had this really big crown of phyllo pastry, which I always love phyllo pastry because it feels like you're eating paper, but you're not going to get all bunged up because it's pastry. Instead of just eating paper where you might get bunged and die, you won't with this. It's really tasty. Give it a try. Well, it's gone now, but when it comes back, give it a try. But this week's been a big week for sports fans by the looks of it, especially fans of Liverpool, because apparently they won. So I don't know what the cup was, but they have won. So well done to anybody who supports Liverpool. I did as a kid. For a very long time, I was a massive supporter because we lived right in front of Liverpool's ground. But mine was back in the days of Robbie Fowler, and Ian Rush and all those good guys, Steve McMiniman, you know what I mean, Michael Owen, all that jazz. That's when I was a fan, and I also went to see them on the big parade that they did. You know the way they do? They did like a big parade around Liverpool when they came back with the cup, which I think, I might be wrong, is it the Champions League Cup? Championship Cup, whichever one it was big in silver. That's how much I can tell you. Anyway, I've seen them bring a cup home in the past when I was younger. We went to see the bus go past with the players, and it was quite cool. That was when, I think that was right at the end of when I was following football, or might have been just after. But either way, it's a nice experience. It's nice to see all of the fans together and happy and getting on well. So congratulations to Liverpool and the people of Liverpool for the celebrations and whatnot. But I have to say, I did see pictures of the aftermath in Liverpool after all the fans had been there waving the coach through and stuff, because there was a seas of them, absolutely seas of these people, which is nice to see. But the mess that they left behind was downright disgusting. It's not cool, people. If you've got some rubbish, here's what you do. It's dead easy. You're watching, well, you're listening. Are you listening close? Here's what you do. You've got a bit of rubbish. Guess what? Put it in your pocket, or keep hold of it. It's in a bag. Keep it in the bag, take it home. You have a bin. Or keep hold of it until you find a bin. But do not throw it on the floor. People who litter are the scum of the earth. If you litter, yes, I'm talking to you. Even if we're friends, you're the scum of the earth. Pick it up. It's not hard. And, this is something that's always bugged me. I've never, ever understood people who just throw litter on the floor. But the seas of filth that I saw after the fans had been there was just downright disgusting. And I'm not the kind of person who's proud of where they're from, because you'd have no control over where you're from. But it made me less proud to be from Liverpool when I saw all that mess. But, that's just how it is. I'm not the kind of person that can just throw rubbish. This was made even stronger feelings. Is that a sentence? I'm quite tired today, so I'm going to talk some nonsense. Don't worry about that. Just don't worry. Move along. So it's always bugged me that people just throw litter on the floor. But when I went to Japan and saw how clean everything was, because people just put stuff in the bag, they take it home and throw it away, or throw it away in the nearest bin. But the thing is, there isn't even that many bins in Tokyo, because they don't have many. They had one terrorist incident in the late 90s, and since then they got rid of all the bins, pretty much. Which is like, and it's still that clean. So they just take it home. They just put it in the bin in the corner shop, or they take it home. And that's dead easy to do. So I got into that habit when I was there anyway. I mean, like I said, I don't litter, but I got into the habit of making sure that I'm just keeping little bits and bobs on me. I don't mind putting stuff in my pockets and whatnot. It's just a nice thing to do, people. Come on, it's not hard. And when there's that many people around, you're all setting an example for each other. So let's do the right thing. Let's clean up after ourselves. Is that so much to ask? Is that too much for one tubby, balding man to ask of the world that he lives in? Come on, folks, do the right thing. Anyway, I don't know why I got on to talking about rubbish. I didn't even write that down. I didn't even write down to talk about rubbish. But there it is. That's how I feel. Anyway, speaking of people being let down and stuff, I've been letting myself down recently with my Japanese. However, I've started to pick up again the past couple of days, but I've been really struggling to stay motivated. So have you guys got any tips when it comes to motivation with what you do? How do you keep yourself motivated? How do you keep yourself driven and ambitious? Because I'm driven, I have goals, but for some reason, every now and again, I have this kind of almost like a self-sabotage thing built in. If things are starting to go well, something inside me says, yeah, skip a day. It's ridiculous. And then I feel guilty about it and it makes it worse. But that's just how it is. So yeah, I wanted to ask you folks, do any of you guys have similar feelings? Do you have things happen to you when you think things are going great? Do you have like a built-in, let's just fuck this up moment? Because I tend to, and it's quite annoying, and I want to know how to fix that. So any tips for motivation, any ideas to keep motivated? I would appreciate any and all of them. Send me something on social media. You guys know what it is. I'll say it all again at the end anyway, like I always do. But yeah, speaking of motivation, I have to say a massive well done to my friend Andre, who did a triathlon, even though he couldn't swim. Yes, folks, that's what I said. A triathlon, even though he couldn't swim. Now, this man is insane, but the good kind of insane. The kind of insane where you say, no, sir, you cannot climb Everest. And he says, I shall climb Everest, and I shall laugh from the peaks at the wimps below. That's the kind of person he is, except not with such a weird accent. He learned to swim. He literally learned to swim to do this triathlon. And I couldn't believe it. The fact that he survived it was already fascinating enough to me. But he also did a pretty good position when he finished overall. He admittedly said his swimming wasn't the best. Out of, I think it was like 4,500 people or something, his swimming was probably like the mid 3,000s. But everything else, he was like pretty top ranks. So bravo, sir. If you're listening, Mr. Andre, bravo. That's all I can say about that, because he's a jolly good man. Jolly good show, sir. Jolly good. Right, we'll be back in a moment, folks, after this word from our sponsors. The name's Todd. Sweeney Todd. I was a world-class barber, among other things. And one day, whilst walking down Fleet Street, I was surrounded by mist and brought to this filthy time. This is a strange world, an uncomfortable world. But Sweeney lives on, and I've got a new line of work. I now work at a place called McDonald's. They said that they were hiring, and Lord knows I need the money. Shortly after I started, there was a manager here named Beth, who gave me a little too much of her bad attitude, and so I decided that we needed a new item on the menu. In honour of the wordsmith, Mr. William Shakespeare, I've decided to name this new burger the Macbeth. It's brimming with flavour and spice. But you better hurry, because she is going fast. Okay, note to self, avoid McDonald's. Speaking of things to avoid and food and such, my lovely little kitty cat was looking at me before, saying, "Hello, sir. I'm on the little pedestal thing. That means I get dreamies, right?" And I said, "Yes, my dear sweet little bundle of fluff. You get dreamies, I will give you dreamies." I gave him some dreamies. And then a few minutes later, he says, "Hey, do you mind if I share those dreamies with the floor?" And I said, "My good friend, please do not do such a thing, for I am cooking tea." And he says, "Ha, I piff at your tea." Blah! And continues to throw up his dreamies all over the living room floor. So luckily, I was in the kitchen. I ran to the kitchen because I don't do vom vom. That ain't my jam. I don't like it. I don't do it. Luckily, Charlie is a lot more manly than I am when it comes to vomit and such, so she just simply dealt with it. I carried on cooking tea because I said to her, "Look, I'm doing food. I'm doing food. Can't touch it." So yeah, he's fine. He's completely fine. He was just greedy. He ate too many too quickly and had to share them. That's just how it is. But yeah, speaking of things, eating things in a plentiful fashion, I went to watch Godzilla 2 just the other day before yesterday, and oh my god, it was good. I think I said on Facebook that it was literally a spectacle. No, it was a spectacle to behold. Yeah, they did everything that I wanted from a Godzilla film, and we went to watch it in 4DX, so it was, the moving seats with the rain and the punch in the back and all this stuff. Oh, it was brilliant. And the sheer scale that those guys were working to was ridiculous to get that film finished. I mean, if you look at the monsters in it and stuff like that, don't worry, I'm not going to spoil anything. Just, you've seen from the posters and from the trailers, there's a lot of giant monsters in it. And making that kind of thing look sort of remotely real, or making you, like, I actually felt empathetic towards the characters. Some of the characters that were in it because of what was happening to them and for what was happening to their towns and cities. And, you shouldn't feel that at all. You shouldn't feel anything about a big CG dragon smashing stuff up. But alas, there I was, feeling the feels. And it was great. Honestly, folks, if you get a chance, go and watch Godzilla 2. The first one was fantastic. And yes, I know, folks, all you purists out there, I know it's not the first Godzilla. Obviously, it's not the first Godzilla. There's like a million Japanese ones, which I've got on my computer ready for me to watch. And as soon as I finish watching number 2, I wanted to go home and watch them all back to back. But I haven't yet. But yeah, the one with Bryan Cranston in from a couple of years ago was really bloody good. And this one that just came out had... I'm sorry, I forget her name. The one who plays Eleven in Stranger Things. She was in it, and she was brilliant. To the point where I didn't really think about Eleven at any point. It's kind of hard when you've only seen somebody in one thing before. For me, it's kind of hard to see them as something else for a while. It takes a few films to get it out of your system. Like when Emma Watson wasn't Hermione anymore. It's like, oh, who's this? What's the bling ring? All this kind of stuff, but eventually you're like, oh, look, it's Belle. So yeah, you get used to it. But with this being the first thing I've seen her in since Stranger Things, it was fascinating to see how smooth the transition was. She was this new character and it went really well. And yeah, the film was stunning. The giant monsters, some of them, oh my God. I know I keep talking about the size of these things, but you have to see it to understand what I'm talking about. Just, it felt so overwhelming to watch it that, like, I was thinking, what would I do in that situation? And the true direness of that situation kind of sunk in when I thought about that, about how there's nothing you can do. There is nothing you can do in some of those situations that they brought up. And it's really, really good, folks. So go and watch it. And actually, it's been a bit of a cinema-filled week this week. Normally, I don't get a chance to go to the cinema that much anymore because I'm busy. But I went twice this week. I went to watch Aladdin last night, the live-action remake of Aladdin, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. The first 10 minutes or so, I was thinking, I'm not too sure on this because the genie felt kind of uncanny valley and it felt a bit weird. But, you know, after a little bit and the songs kicked in and stuff, it was great. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought Will Smith did a cracking job as Genie. Everyone else did a cracking job doing what they were doing. And Disney themselves did a great job of giving this animated film a real life, as it were. Now, yeah, it's great film. Apparently, like I said, I found the Genie a bit weird when he was sort of CG Blue Genie. They did some cool stuff, but it still felt uncanny valley to me, which, for those of you guys who don't know what that is, that's when something is made as a 3D object, like, you know, made on a computer, and it's meant to look super realistic, but because it's not real, something about it feels off to you. That's known as uncanny valley. Now, Charlie raised a good point here. She reckons it could have been done like that intentionally because it was based on a cartoon. They're trying to still keep it with like a sort of animated feel, you know? And I got to agree. I think there's a good chance that could be what it was. But yeah, that is also a cracking film. Go and give it a watch, especially if you like giant CG tigers, because it was a cutie. That was a cute tiger right there. Now, as you guys know, I've been playing Sekiro recently, and it's so hard, and I'm still on the final boss, and I've got to say, it's starting to piss me off a bit. So for now, I've stopped playing it, because all I've got left to do is the final boss, and I'm not feeling motivated to beat it, because I'm already at the end. There's nothing else that can happen. There's nothing else to come, apart from getting to play the game all over again on New Game Plus, and at this point, I don't really want to. So, I'm going to give it a rest for a bit, because when I go back to it, I'll enjoy it more. And probably when this happened last time when I got stuck in a boss, I gave it a rest for like a week, and then I went back to it and I kicked that boss's ass for after 3 attempts. So hopefully that'll happen this time. But yeah, because of that, I went and played Assassin's Creed Origins again, because I haven't played that for ages, and I was really enjoying it. I'd caught up on almost all the Assassin's Creeds at that point. I've finished them all apart from Syndicate when Origins came out, and then Origins came out, and then for some reason Odyssey came out pretty much straight away. Which was weird because they'd said they weren't going to do that. But anyway, so yeah, I got both of them. I played both of them for a little bit, and then I stopped because something else came out, because that's what I do. So I'm trying to get back into it, folks. I'm trying. What else happened? Oh yeah, Night Owl. You guys know I spoke last week about my buddy, Mr. Night Owl, who streams on Twitch, and he's made his triumphant return, and boy, has it been triumphant. In his first week, he's already got 20 new subscribers. 20, folks, 20. That is fantastic news. That is 20 people who pay every month to get exclusive access to emoticons and the such. And I'm absolutely made up for him. I'm so glad it's going well for him. I want everybody who watches Twitch, everybody who likes video games, go and watch Night Owl on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Night Owl. But the L is a number 1. So it's NIGTOW1. Okay, folks? Right, anywho, I'm going to go head off because I've got a Fry's Turkish Delight with my name on it, except my name isn't Fry. So I lied about that bit, but you get the idea. So thanks a lot for listening, folks. I love you all. Lots. Deeply and such. So yeah, thanks a lot for listening. If you've got any questions for me, or if you just want to hurl some abuse at me, you can find me on all the social medias. I'm at ChrisHunterCom on Twitter, which is short for comedy. And I'm just Chris Hunter Comedy everywhere else. It's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You name it, I'm probably there. So, once again, thanks a lot for listening, folks. If you like what you heard, do me a favour, just a little solid. Give me a good rating on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast. Apple Podcasts, I think it's called now, instead of iTunes. Wherever you listen, give me a nice little rating. Maybe even a little review if you're feeling extra fancy. So thanks a lot for listening, folks. I'll see all you beautiful barstools next week. Bye-bye now.